This is seedlings there. You can see some little ones right there. There will be a bunch more. I mean, these are past seedlings. I'll dig some of those up to move.
But
I'm not a fan of digging up or splitting a big clump.
Gotcha.
I've heard enough horror stories from people who have dug them up and lost them, and I do not want to lose them, although I got a bunch more. But I mean, that one out there in the middle, that one down there, those are all seedlings from these.
In case we didn't get it on video, we're talking about the Himalayan blue poppy, or Meconopsis.
Right.
What about bleeding heart? Like splitting that?
Ooh, good one. I need to do mine, I think.
And bleeding hearts are another difficult one because their roots are so brittle. They're very succulent, but also very brittle. You've got to be very careful with them. And the broken pieces, if they don't have a bit of the top crown on it or buds, won't sprout. Same thing with peonies. You know, peonies would normally be dug in the fall for splitting and replanting. You know, if you don't have some bit of the bud on it, or just like dahlias too, same thing. There needs to be the little bud at the top of the dahlia tuber to be able to sprout, to grow.
Okay.
You know, sometimes they break off.
Yeah.
And again, dahlia tubers are supposed to be kind of sort of edible too. So we're talking about when to divide stuff. So we're looking at delphiniums, monkshood, there's hostas, there's lilies. The crocus could be dug, actually. You know, once they're done blooming, they could be dug up. But the other perennials and bulbs are really too large at this point for dividing. Better to get them when they just start to peek above the ground early, shortly after the snow melts. I guess that was only a few weeks ago. Not very long, but it's sprouted fast.
Yep, it did.
So timing is important on that, when you can do that. But yeah, the little bulbs, again in here there are some Chionodoxa and some other stuff here. Again, those, you can see that the crocus here, this is Chionodoxa. This would be a perfect time. You could dig them up while you can still see them and separate them, clean them off, and replant. So, but things, if I wanted to bother with the tulips, again, tulips or daffodils, normally you would wait till the tops would die down. Down south, like in the Skagit Valley, that would be in, say, probably by the end of June, and that's when they would be lifting their fields of, the tulip fields or the daffodil fields. Lifting, separating, cleaning, grading, take the biggest ones out to sell, and then replanting the small ones to regrow. You know, around here, replanting smaller tulips means you get smaller tulips the next year. You know, they don't store enough food here. It's just too wet, too cold and too wet.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else?
I don't really know much about ferns, but they are...
Here, let me do
Okay, grab the shovel.
I was trying to remove some the other day, They're tough. They seem pretty tough.
The technique is similar. If anything, they're tougher still. No, we can dig a chunk out of this. Or I'm going to try to dig a chunk out of this.
Yes.
This is a place where a sawzall might actually come in handy because it is such tough. The black rhizome mass is amazing. And of course, it's sprouting here through the cardboard. So we'll try digging the small ones first, and then we'll try digging the big one. There we go. But now I get folks who want, like I say, there's folks who ask about that and how difficult it is or not. This is all a mass. So I'm just going to take a chunk out of there. So there's a nice piece. They got really black roots, rhizomes, lots of worms and with all that. And it was attached, attached to some of the mother plant. That's a nice little one there.
Yeah.
But then to try to take a chunk like this, Actually, using the skid steer might be better to use, or a backhoe. This shovel isn't even penetrating that mass. Okay.
You like a
We'll try
like a
something
Pulaski or
Ooh,
an
okay,
axe,
yeah,
huh?
Axe.
Okay. Safety here, hard hat, safety glasses, elbow pads, knee pads, steel-toed shoes. Yeah, all that. So we're trying to cut a chunk out of that. Now I might be able to get out with the shovel. Lever it out a chunk. Bury it again and stand back. You don't need to give it any more compost, fertilizer, most soil. I mean, organic, it likes organic matter certainly. But yeah, it's a,
It know what's to do
It is.
all on its own, huh?
it is some tough
Yeah.
stuff, very tough stuff there that to chop apart. You know, and to put that in a pot, I'll probably put that one in half. There. Yeah, a little more.
Or maybe again, yeah.
Yep. Got to be persuasive with them.
Do you
Yep. Got to be persuasive with them.
know what variety?
Which variety this
Which
is?
variety it is?
This should be our common Polisticum.
Oh.
The Polisticum is the genus, but
Okay.
not sure. There's other assorted stuff there. So,
Pulmonaria.
Get a picture of what it looks like to begin with. Pulmonaria or lungwort. The spotted one is maybe the more medicinally correct one, but anyway.
That's the one I have with the pink flowers, pinkish.
Pink or white. Yeah,
Pink
white
and white,
also
yeah.
comes in.
That's the one I
Yeah,
have.
and there's a bunch of different ones. So
Oh, nice. Good to know.
go ahead, cut the chunk, pull the chunk out. And it will pull apart pretty well. Oh, you see. Come on. Yeah.
I love how you can just throw it down.
I am not so gentle, wholesale, not retail fashion. Well, anyway. So, yeah, there's a beautiful buttercup there. Just perfect for replanting. Perfect, yeah. So again, these are quite different. They've got a really interesting rhizome root. Makes quite a tangle. So you pull them apart, and so there you've got rhizome, got some roots, perfect. They're actually perfect for that. So depending on how much you want to separate, there we've got, there's little bits and pieces, and all of those, there's enough there that they will sprout and grow. Anything else? Again, there's a piece there. Here's a big clump. So again, we could pull them apart, they could be cut. But again, you can see this mass. I mean, these started from little bits, and so you can separate them out, shake them out. Dirt separates. Again, it's nice that it is kind of a drier day too. Even that little bit that has a little sprout on it would grow.
Mm-hmm.
And what I would do for this, certainly for these that have flowers on them, again, I would discard, pinch off the flowers, remove those. That's not going to help the plant. Sometimes we'll even remove some of the leaves because it takes a lot of energy to keep all that leafy growth alive.
Right.
And then again, you separate because there's still some buttercup in there. It's nice to get the buttercups out. We got plenty of those. No shortage. So that's pretty clean there. So you could plant that whole clump, take the loose bits and pieces out of there. There's another buttercup in there.
And when you replant it, you always try to replant up to...
Green side up. That's kind of the mantra. Yeah, more or less the same depth
Right.
as it was grown before. Pile some soil up around it. Again, there's pieces that are coming off, breaking off real easily. And again, water it in with a little bit of manure tea or compost tea or something like that.
Fertilizer of choice.
Some compost, yeah, a little bit of that. So I mean, we got a couple of nice clumps there that would grow just fine, and more buttercups that need to be pulled out because the buttercups root right through them, kind of like strawberries do.
Yes.
And they have runners, and so that will be a whole bunch more plants of Pulmonaria.
All right.
And more buttercups, Pulmonaria.